Hi, this is Pat with Sew 406, and I'm here today to help you prepare for your quilted sneaker class you've signed up for. I've been making these sneakers for about a year and a half, and I've been teaching for about a year. And I just love making these sneakers. I love wearing them. I love teaching the class, and I especially love seeing what everybody creates. Everybody has something different, and it's always fun. So when you signed up for your class, you should have gotten this supply list. If you haven't received it, send me a message and I'll make sure that you get a copy of it. This list will go over all your fabric requirements for the different options, as well as what you need for a sewing machine and things like that. Now, there's many options on how to create this, what fabrics you'll want to use. And it might be the most difficult part of making your sneakers. So this pair right here is made with all the same fabric. So the main body of the shoe and the tongue, the lining, the binding, everything is just one fabric. It can be made with a different fabric for the body of the shoe and the tongue, the lining, and the binding, or any combination thereof. So this pair, for instance, is made with a separate fabric for the body, a different fabric for the tongue, a different fabric for the lining, and then I use the lining fabric for the binding. So all kinds of options. So that's one reason I love seeing what everybody creates, what their thoughts are. So that is all listed here on this sheet. But I just want to make some clarifications, and there's a few caveats on this list here. For instance, if your fabric is directional like this, or if you have a large print that you want to fussy cut, or you have a larger shoe, like, a size 43, which is 11, I believe, in a woman's shoe, you might need a little extra fabric. So what I recommend is that you would print this pattern out. This is a free pattern, and I will put a link to the pattern on this video so that you can print these out yourself and make sure you have enough fabric quilted. When you do this, when you print these, there's 3 sheets, and you'll want to print 2 copies because you'll want to be able to put this together like this, tape it together for so you're sure that you can get it, fit your thing. And then there's the tongue. Make sure when you print it at 100% so this 4-inch line is accurate. Now, if you're making the high tops, this is the line that you will follow, the top line. If you're making the classics, you'll cut at the next line right there. Same thing on the tongue. The top line is for high tops. This is for the classic right there. I will have laminated templates for you to use during class, so you don't have to worry about that, and I don't want you cutting out your sneakers before class. We're just getting the fabrics prepped so you have plenty of time to finish your sneakers. So you can, this is 2 fat quarters, and it is my quilt sandwich with the fusible interfacing, fusible woven interfacing, SF101, double-sided fusible foam, and then my lining. So you can see here that if I'm making, this is a size 40, which is a 8.5 to 9, that this would be the way you're lining, you're gonna lay it out if you're doing with no fussy cut and with all the same fabrics, except maybe your binding is different. But if you have a directional fabric, you can see here I can't be biased against one university here in Montana. So this is the same size shoe, but it is a high top. But you can see where because it's directional, I cannot put my tongues this way. It will be backwards or sideways. So you'll have to lay it out like this. So that is what you need to consider and why I recommend you pull out or print out these sheets. So let's talk about size. So this is a size 43. This is a size 36. You can see there's quite a bit of difference in the size and how much fabric you would need. And the same is true on the tongue. So this is showing you the high tops, but it's still quite a bit of difference even if you're doing the classic. So just be aware of that and try to remember to check that size. Make sure you have enough. Always better to have too much fabric than not enough. Okay, so now I'm going to review how to make your quilt sandwich. First, we're going to take our lining fabric and we're going to put it pretty side down. Right side down, wrong side up. Then we're going to take our fusible interfacing, SF101 or whichever type you use, or what's provided in your kit if your quilt shop is giving you a kit. We're going to put it down glue side down on the wrong side of the lining. Then we're taking our double-sided fusible foam and lining that up just like that. And then our outside fabric. And we want the pretty side up on that. Okay. So this is slightly less than a fat quarter. But I want to show you if you are making your tongue out of a different fabric, if we lay this out just like that, you'll see there's plenty here. So from here to here is a fat quarter. Use plenty of room to cut off the foam and interfacing before you fuse this to use this foam and interfacing that's left for your tongues. Now this is a 6 by 20 inch piece of fabric. So you'll see we've got, if we cut that foam and interfacing off, there's plenty. And my tongue fits on there just right. Now you could also do this with two 10-inch squares. And it fits on there just right. So you have options as far as the tongue and the fabric. This gets confusing for some people when they fuse all of this and then they don't have any foam or interfacing left for the different colored tongue. So that's how we do that. Now, to fuse this, you want to make sure it's smoothed out from the center, and you're going to take your iron and you're going to press, hold for about 10 seconds, lift it up, and press again until you get through the whole thing. You're not ironing, you're pressing. And that way, you'll get it all done. Nice, smooth, even, going out from the center. Once that's all done, and before you do that, if you have extra foam and interfacing, you probably want to trim that off so it doesn't get stuck on your iron. Then we're going to flip it over. And because of the thickness of our layers here, we're going to just make sure the back is fused well. So we're just going to do the same thing on the lining side. So we're just going to press it, move, press it all the way around until it's pressed firmly. Obviously, I'm not doing this right now because I'm on my cutting table and not my pressing table. You can use a heat press like this if you have one. A handheld steamer will not work. It does not hold it firm enough. If you, most instructions on the foam say to use wet cloth. I find it's not necessary. it holds together well enough if you press it firmly with a cotton setting on your iron. Now, if you think it's not staying well, I would spritz it with a little water and then do the same thing again, press and then move it. But typically it works just fine. Now, for quilting, there's many options. A lot of people do a very fancy quilting and match their pattern or just do flowers or whatever they want. I tend to just do a straight line quilting. I am intermediate quilter maybe. So, but I do straight line, diagonal lines on both ways. So I get a pattern like that, and I like the way that looks. So you have lots of options, but when you are quilting, make sure that your quilting lines are no more than an inch apart, inch or less on your quilting lines. So that will prepare your quilt sandwich for you, and you bring that and you'll be ready to go. Now for your binding. Your binding needs to be on the bias, which will give you a little stretch. And the bias is 45 degrees from the from the selvage edges. So this is a fat quarter. I fold it into a triangle, just like that. And then I'm going to just simply cut this, just a very small amount off of this edge here that I just pressed. I press that to make it nice and straight. And then I'm just going to cut a very minimal amount off to give me two nice edges for the bias. Okay, there we go. Now we have two very nice fresh edges to cut our bias strips. So the pattern says to cut your bias 1 3/4 inches. I prefer, and many of my students have preferred, to cut it at 2 inches. So you'll need 4 pieces that are between 20 and 22 inches long, depending upon your size. So I would recommend just getting 22 inches. So we're going to cut this at 2 inch. And then cut the next one. Looks like I might need a new rotary blade. Then we're going to cut the next one, and so on. Just keep going till you have 4 of them. So this piece right here is 23 inches, which is perfect. Now, if you need to join them on a diagonal seam and press the seam open. Some people just like to put it all together. So if you're going to do that, I would say just do one strip with the piece up to 88 or 90 inches long. Now we're going to take it and we're going to fold it in half and press that, just like that. Now be careful because it is on the bias and it's going to stretch. We don't want it to stretch until we're going around our shoe. So there you go. So you're going to press that and bring it with you with your quilt sandwich. And so that is prepping. That's all the prep you'll need for the class. And I am very excited to meet you and see what you do and what you're able to create. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Have a great day.